What is going on, everybody? And I hope you're having a fantastic weekend so far and you're enjoying your Saturday afternoon. This is NYG Jeffy T 85, and I'm here to give you my New York Giants keys to victory over the Baltimore Ravens this Sunday at MetLife Stadium in Week 6 for an opportunity for the Giants to boost their record all the way up to 5-1 on the season and continue to get their fan base even more excited from what potentially could be lying ahead for this New York Giants team, including the playoffs. Now, the New York Giants are going to be playing against a very difficult and tough Baltimore Ravens team at MetLife Stadium this coming Sunday. And Baltimore is one of those teams that can beat you in a variety of ways, especially with the fact that they have an all-pro tight end in Mark Andrews. They have an all-pro quarterback in Lamar Jackson. They have a couple of speed wide receivers on the outside in James Prochet, Rashad Bateman, and of course Devin Duvernay. They have a solid group of running backs, including J.K. Dobbins, Justice Hill, as well as some of the other players on this Baltimore Ravens team. So the Ravens are definitely a team that you cannot look past, and they have a very solid defense as well, led by Calais Campbell, as well as Tyus Bowser, including Jason Pierre-Paul, the former New York Giant, Patrick Queen at linebacker, and of course in their secondary, led by a couple of very good cornerbacks in Marcus Peters and Marlon Humphrey, as well as their safety Chuck Clark. So the Baltimore Ravens are definitely a team that the New York Giants cannot look past, and the Giants have to make sure that they're going to be ready to play in this game against the Baltimore Ravens. So a couple of my keys to the game that I think the Giants are going to have to do in order to beat this Baltimore Ravens team. And I'm going to start out with this one especially, and it's obviously the most obvious key for the New York Giants if they want to win this game against the Baltimore Ravens. The first key in this game, they have to make sure they have discipline, and they have to make sure that they stop Lamar Jackson from scrambling out of the pocket. It's a similar concept to what the New York Giants did against Justin Fields a couple of weeks ago, where they had to try to not make sure that Justin Fields broke contain on the outside to pick up some of those big runs with his legs. They're going to have to do the same thing against Lamar Jackson, except they're going to have to be even better in terms of their discipline and their run discipline on the outside, as well as their discipline up front, and not allow Lamar Jackson to make those big plays with his legs. We all know how good Lamar Jackson is when he's scrambling out of the pocket to make something out of nothing with his legs. Lamar Jackson has got to be contained inside that pocket. The second Lamar Jackson has that ability to scramble out, have the Giants not be able to contain on the outside, that is when Lamar Jackson is going to pick up those big yardage, those big gains on the outside. That is when Lamar Jackson is going to be able to go and create havoc against this New York Giants defense. Lamar Jackson needs to be kept in the pocket. That's going to look at the outside linebacker position, guys like O'Shane Ximenez, Azeez Ojulari, Jahad Ward, Timon Fox, Kayvon Thibodeau. These guys have got to make sure that they don't allow Lamar Jackson to scramble out of the pocket on the outside, and they have to make sure they stay disciplined, and that's going to be the key word for the New York Giants. Shout out to my guys, Mac the Giants fan and Coach Ed Gladney. They've been repeating this statement the entire time about the Giants remaining a disciplined team on the outside, especially when you're playing against an all-world quarterback like Lamar Jackson, who can make something out of nothing, especially with his legs. So the Giants need to stay disciplined on the outside and not allow Lamar Jackson to scramble out of that pocket. If they can do that and keep Lamar Jackson in the pocket, that is where Lamar can tend to have some of those mistakes that he's made in football games, where he sometimes tends to throw off his back foot, he panics sometimes, and that's where the Giants can be able to create some turnovers against this Baltimore Ravens offense. And that is where the New York Giants can be able to make Lamar Jackson uncomfortable if they keep him in the pocket, if they apply the pressure on him, if they remain disciplined in their outside gaps, and they make Lamar Jackson throw the ball up and try to potentially have Lamar Jackson throw some turnovers or possibly even fumble the ball if the New York Giants can keep him in the pocket. Now, my second key to the game for the New York Giants to win this game is they have to make sure they contain Mark Andrews in the game. They cannot allow Mark Andrews to go out there and be able to create as much havoc as he can on the football field. Mark Andrews is one of the top tight ends in the NFL. He has been one of the top tight ends in the NFL. He's able to have good route running in the middle of the field. He's able to pinpoint the high point on the catches. He's been able to get open against double teams. Mark Andrews is a damn good football tight end for the Baltimore Ravens, and the New York Giants have got to make sure that they don't allow Mark Andrews to break open this game and create havoc out there, and that the New York Giants have to make sure that he's not the guy on that offense besides Lamar Jackson that beats the New York Giants defense going forward. So containing Mark Andrews at the tight end position is essential for the New York Giants. They cannot allow Mark Andrews to go run wild against this New York Giants defense. It would be pretty much a big mistake if Mark Andrews is able to go out there and he's able to put up double-digit catches. He's able to put up triple-digit yardage against this New York Giants defense. Mark Andrews is an upper echelon tight end for a reason. He can go out there. He can get multiple touchdowns. He can also be a guy that can go over the middle and catch some of those tough passes. He can also even go deep occasionally and get and high point some of his catches, like I said earlier. And he's also a guy that can create mismatches on the football field better than any other tight ends in the league. Besides maybe a Travis Kelce and a George Kittle, there's not a lot of tight ends that can create the type of plays at that position better than Mark Andrews. So the New York Giants have got to make sure they have a safety in play against Mark Andrews and do not allow him to go out there and just pretty much wreck the game for this Giants defense. And I expect guys like Julian Love and especially Xavier McKinney to be the ones to primarily cover against Mark Andrews in this game. Do not put Tate Crowder on him. If you put Tate Crowder if you put a linebacker, especially Tate Crowder, against Mark Andrews is going to eat him alive. And you don't put Landon Collins on him too. With the fact that Jason Pinnock and Tony Jefferson look like they're not going to play in this game, it looks like Landon Collins might get a little bit more time at the safety position as well as play at linebacker. But the Giants cannot put Collins, Crowder, or even rookie Dane Belton on Mark Andrews because Mark Andrews will eat those three guys alive. I'd put Xavier McKinney and or Julian Love on Mark Andrews, have them cover him, try to take him out of the game. If you need to, maybe you could double team Mark Andrews in the middle of the field and make one of those other players on the outside beat you because Mark Andrews is the one legit threat in this passing game for Baltimore that could beat the Giants. And the Giants have got to make sure that he is not the guy that beats him and make one of those wide receivers on that football field or make their backup tight end, Isaiah Likely, be the one to beat the New York Giants going forward. So I think that's essential that the Giants do not let Mark Andrews go out there and beat this team in this game. Keep him contained, lower his numbers. He's going to get his catches. He's going to get his numbers from time to time. But the Giants cannot let Mark Andrews be the reason why he wrecks this game. Ditto for Lamar Jackson. Those are my first two keys. Keeping Lamar Jackson contained in the pocket. Do not let him break outside contain. And Mark Andrews, making sure you do not let the Giants cannot let Mark Andrews wreck this game. My third key to the game, run the football. Simple as always. Run this football. Continue to do what the New York Giants do best, and that's running the football up the middle with Saquon Barkley. Daniel Jones will be feeling a little bit better this week compared to what he was last week against the Packers, so I expect those design runs by Mike Kafka to be brought right back into play a lot more for Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley. Some of those fake handoffs. This Baltimore Ravens defense is very aggressive. They are going to run after it, and they're going to try to jump up and they're gonna be a very aggressive defense. The Giants offense can take advantage of this with some of those design runs, either Saquon Barkley, maybe you have some back plays in the backfield where you can make Saquon Barkley take a direct handoff. Daniel Jones could roll out to the outside. You can have some wildcat formations. There's a lot you could do against this aggressive Baltimore Ravens defense against the run. And their run right now is giving up at least about 5.7 yards per carry. So this is something that Saquon Barkley and Daniel Jones can take advantage of against a very aggressive Baltimore Ravens defense. So I expect the Giants to go out there and not only just continue to run the football, but make this Baltimore Ravens play over aggressive on their defensive side, and the Giants can maybe pick up some big runs against this Baltimore Ravens defense going forward. So a heavy dose of the run, and why not when you have an offensive line that is right now one of the best in the league in terms of run blocking, when you have your running back who is the best right now in the league in terms of yards from scrimmage as well as rushing the football. You might as well stick with your bread and butter in this game, and this is the reason why this Giants team has been so good this year, especially on the offensive side of the football, is because they're running the football at such an incredible rate right now because of Saquon Barkley, because of Daniel Jones scrambling out, because of the play calling right now from Mike Kafka on offense, and because of the offensive line run blocking so well. So why not the New York Giants just continue to do what they do best, and that's running the football at a very consistent rate and just continue to pound the rock and make that Baltimore Ravens come up and try to stop that run. Now my fourth key to the game, I had a couple of things that I was going to think about bringing in for the keys to the game for the New York Giants, but this one I'm going to stick with what I think is going to be important, that's special teams. The New York Giants have actually had a pretty good special team so far this year. It was a little bit bumpy at the beginning of the season, especially against Tennessee and Carolina, but the Giants have really started to pick it up in terms of their special teams. Graham Gano continues to go out there and be one of the best place kickers in the NFL. Jamie Gillen, who's back now with the team, he's actually been one of the best punters right now, except I think he just needs to be a little bit better in terms of when he needs to punt it deep and when he needs to punt it short. But otherwise that, Jamie Gillen has been a very, very good punter for the New York Giants overall. And even what's been better, the Giants are all not only doing a little bit better with their kick coverage and their punt coverage, but they're also starting to create turnovers on special teams. And that's essential for this New York Giants team, is continue to be able to create some havoc and some turnovers on that side of the ball when your opposing team is trying to run it back for some big plays. And also, the Giants still need to do better in terms of their return game. The Giants are still getting nothing from that return game right now, as Gary Brightwell and Richie James, who have been handling the punt and kick return duties, are still not being able to get that New York Giants offense in a better field position. Yes, once in a while they're able to do that, but most of the time the New York Giants have been stuck near their end zone at around the 25, 20-yard line, and the kick return and the punt return units have got to do a lot better and help this New York Giants team get in a better field position where they're able to make those big plays against the Baltimore Ravens defense and be able to be in better field position where they're going to be able to put up some more points. So I'm really hoping that the special teams aspect of this game, Thomas McGahee is doing a very good job overall with the special teams unit. There's a reason why Brian Daboll and Joe Shane kept McGahee part of this coaching staff, is because they believe in what McGahee does in terms of the special teams unit. So I really hope that the punt and kick return for the New York Giants can start picking it up, because this team has been too stuck right now. They've been stuck way too much at their own side of the field, and I really believe that the special teams and the kick and the punt return have got to be better, and hopefully Richie James and or Gary Brightwell can start to bring a spark to that special teams unit. I was thinking maybe Wan'Dale Robinson, once he gets back from injury, and it's trending right now that he will be back for this Sunday against the Ravens, but right now I don't know if Wan'Dale Robinson, you want to throw him out there at special teams. I would really keep him more in terms of the offensive aspect of the game, because the Giants need help at that wide receiver position. So I would definitely keep Wan'Dale Robinson as a part of the wide receiver core and not put him on special teams right now. Richie James and Gary Brightwell, you guys got to bring a little bit more of a spark to that special teams unit, and hopefully you guys can. And my fifth key to the game for the New York Giants to be able to win this game, they got to take shots against this Baltimore Ravens defense. The Baltimore Ravens defense right now, in terms of their pass defense, is one of the worst in the league. This Baltimore Ravens defense gives up a ton of yards, because they are very aggressive in the secondary. They're even more aggressive in their pass defense than they are in their run defense, and that tends to get them beat on the outside. And especially when you have a speed receiver like Darius Slayton, this is your chance for the New York Giants, if they get enough protection, which they did against the Green Bay Packers, to be able to take some deep shots down the field to Darius Slayton, and he can open things up, especially against over-aggressive cornerbacks like Marcus Peters and Marlon Humphrey. While both these guys are top-level cornerbacks in the NFL, they both tend to get beat because of their play over-aggressive style, especially Marcus Peters. He gets a little chippy on the outside, and maybe if you run a double move with the Darius Slayton, or you can use his top-end speed on a 9 route, he could be able to draw some illegal contact and pass interference penalties against this Baltimore Ravens secondary. So I really want to see the New York Giants be able to go out there and be aggressive, passing the football at times too. Daniel Jones showed that against the Green Bay Packers, and especially against this uber-aggressive Baltimore Ravens defense, especially in the pass defense. The New York Giants have got to go out there and be able to create those big plays like they did, stretch the field, and take advantage of a Baltimore Ravens defense that will be overly aggressive and that will give it up in the pass game at times because of the fact they're very, very undisciplined at times in their pass coverage. And they jump their routes very quickly, and this is when the New York Giants could take advantage of that with some double moves. Like I said, you have a speed receiver like Darius Slayton, who had his coming out party this season for the New York Giants when he had 6 catches for 78 yards in the game. He stretched the field. He had some downfield looks for the New York Giants. He was getting open across the field. Darius Slayton is that guy that could be a potential weapon on the outside. And also, you get Wan'Dale Robinson back in this game. He's that do-it-all wide receiver. He's another guy that you could either send over the middle for this New York Giants offense, as well as a guy that you could be able to go even deep at times, maybe put him in the slot, sling him out in the backfield. Wan'Dale Robinson is that type of wide receiver that I've really been saying for a while that I think is going to be that key for this offense. I think that's the guy that Mike Kafka has been waiting to use in this offense for a while. And now that you have Darius Slayton playing as well as he is on the outside, and you add Wan'Dale Robinson to the slot, and who knows, maybe in the future you get Kadarius Toney and Kenny Golladay back, but you still have Wan'Dale Robinson, Darius Slayton, plus Marcus Johnson coming off the practice squad, and you still have David Sills and Richie James. The wide receiver core is starting to get a little bit more healthy, and they're starting to get playmakers now on the outside. Albeit, yes, they're not number ones, but they're still guys that can make plays. So you take advantage of an overly aggressive Baltimore Ravens defense by throwing the ball down the field, make these Ravens players cover and stay disciplined, because if they don't, the New York Giants are going to be able to create some big plays against this Baltimore Ravens defense, and it's going to be a thing of beauty to watch if that in fact is able to happen against this Baltimore Ravens defense. So I cannot wait to see what the New York Giants come up with in terms of some play calls against this Baltimore Ravens defense. So I think overall the New York Giants have got to come out. They have to play disciplined football against Lamar Jackson. They have to make sure they know where Mark Andrews is at all time on the field. They have to continue to run the football, get some contributions on special teams, whether it's kick coverage, punt coverage, return game, and both punt return and kick return have got to be improved a little bit. Get this New York Giants team in better field position. And, of course, they have to try to make sure they take some deep shots against the Baltimore Ravens. So I'm just going to go over my keys to the game one more time for the New York Giants to be able to defeat the Baltimore Ravens at MetLife Stadium in Week 6 on Sunday. First off, the New York Giants have got to make sure they be disciplined and contain Lamar Jackson's running ability on the outside. You cannot allow Lamar Jackson to get out of the pocket and scramble for some of those big yardages, including some big runs for touchdowns, because that's what Lamar Jackson's game is at best, is when he's able to scramble out of the pocket and create something out of nothing. The Giants have got to be disciplined. They've got to be calm. They cannot allow to give up that contain on the outside, or Lamar Jackson is going to eat them alive. Also, the New York Giants have got to be better in terms of the Giants have got to make sure they keep Mark Andrews contained in this game too. Just like with Lamar Jackson, my first key. The second key, make sure Mark Andrews does not wreck the game over the middle or on the outside in the receiving game for the Baltimore Ravens. Keep him contained and do not allow him to be the main reason why this Baltimore Ravens passing game goes off against the Giants defense. My third key, make sure you continue to run the football with Saquon Barkley, design run plays for Daniel Jones. Make sure this run game continues to be the reason why this Giants offense is going to be formidable going against any team, especially against this Baltimore Ravens defense that is giving up over 5 yards per carry against the run in this season. So Giants have got to continue to be able to stick with their bread and butter most of the time, and that's running the football with Saquon Barkley, with Daniel Jones, with Matt Breida, with Gary Brightwell, whatever the running game is going forward, and Wan'Dale Robinson design runs. My fourth key of the game, special teams contributions. You need to have good coverage, punt coverage, kick coverage for the New York Giants. Maybe even create some turnovers on special teams against this Baltimore Ravens defense. Graham Gano, Jamie Gillen have done a very good job in kicking and punting so far for the New York Giants. And the field position has got to be better for the New York Giants as well when it comes to getting some better field position for your offense going forward. So hopefully the New York Giants are able to do that and have better play on special teams in terms of their punt and kick returns, and continue to play well in terms of their kick and punt coverage, as well as punting and kicking the football overall. And number 5, take some shots downfield. Play aggressive against this Baltimore Ravens aggressive defense, and take advantage of them when they get a little bit handsy on the outside. Take some deep shots with Darius Slayton. Have some plays over the middle with Wan'Dale Robinson. Make this Baltimore Ravens defense commit some penalties on the outside, whether it's pass interference or illegal contact. And then you could be able to create some big plays on the outside with maybe some double moves, and make this Baltimore Ravens defense, which is right now one of the worst in the NFL in terms of guarding the pass, make them play over aggressive, and have Daniel Jones take some shots downfield like he did against the Green Bay Packers. So those are my keys to the game for the New York Giants to pull off the victory against the Baltimore Ravens. If you guys like this video, please hit the like button below. Sub up if you haven't already to NYGJeffyT85 for more breaking news, updates, chatter, as well as game predictions and keys to the game for the New York Giants. Turn on the bell for notifications of the next video or short that's going to be dropping on the channel surrounding the New York Giants. And let me know in the comment section, what are your keys to the game for the New York Giants to pull off the victory against the Baltimore Ravens Sunday at MetLife Stadium, and for the Giants to improve their record to a very impressive 5-1 on the season. So I hope everybody enjoys the rest of your Saturday. I hope everybody's having a great weekend so far. New York Giants have another big game. I hope the New York Giants crowd comes loud. They come proud. I hope the New York Giants crowd represents over there at MetLife Stadium. They get loud and they make it uncomfortable for Lamar Jackson to operate in that offense. So let's go New York Giants. Let's get it done on Sunday. Let's up our record to 5-1, and let's keep making those haters out there continue to hate while we keep stacking them W's on the season. Have a great rest of your Saturday, everybody. Take it easy, and let's go New York Football Giants. As always, together blue, everyone.